Yep, we gotta save the MacBook Air ourselves, folks. The M4 MacBook Air is a very capable machine, but its biggest problem is being fanless. It loses up to 50% of its performance when doing sustained heavy workload. And while gaming, that drop is really noticeable. Let's take Assassin's Creed Shadow as an example. On the left, we have the MacBook Air, and on the right, the MacBook Pro 14, as both of which using the Apple M4 chip. Well, at first, when entering the game, both laptops run at the same frame rate at around 40 FPS. But after just about 10 minutes, the M4 MacBook Air starts heating up. Since there's no fan, it relies completely on passive cooling through its aluminum body. And performance just keeps dropping until it's hit around 20 FPS. That's a 50% loss from the starting point. At that point, the performance core on the MacBook Air are barely working at all, and only the efficiency core are running. The whole package consumes just a few watts, but the machine still feels really hot, especially on the surface. Meanwhile, the MacBook Pro 14 with the same chip maintains its top performance the whole time, and that's the value of having a fan in the Pro model. This happened in a lot of games we tested as the FPS dropped 50% after just about 30 minutes. That's really a waste of the M4 chip potentials. And of course, the render time also got longer. It just kept running without finishing. Overall, the MacBook Air performance takes a serious hit when it comes to continuous, long, heavy tasks. So we tried adding Thermalpad and using an external fan to help it cool down faster. It sounds as simple as adding some sticker, but the result is really surprising, and we discovered some cool stuff too. Okay, so the goal here is to pull the heat away from the aluminum chassis as fast as possible so that it doesn't trap the heat inside. So here's how we did it. First, we placed a few Thermalpad around the copper plate area. The MacBook Air doesn't have a fan nor any vapor chamber cooling. It just uses a copper sheet to conduct heat to the outside. And that's the main bottleneck here. And if you want, you could add a bigger Thermalpad that covers up the entire back panel. In our cases, we just use about 3 Thermalpad that we bought online. Once applied, the Thermalpad touched the aluminum bottom plate. And we noticed something interesting, as now the heat is concentrated at the bottom of the device. So when playing games or rendering, the bottom got really hot to a point that is so uncomfortable to touch. But thanks to that, now the palm rest and the keyboard stay noticeably cooler. That's because the heat now has somewhere to go. Now the heat is focused at the bottom, so we need to get it out. Well, you could use a cooling pad, but we don't have one in hand, so we use more Thermalpad plus a copper plate, and then use a fan to blow it out. And the result was really surprising. Going back to our Cinebench R24 test, the performance was not only higher than before, but it also stayed consistently high. No more overheating or throttling like before. We also tested rendering with Thermalpads and a fan, and it's rendered faster than the original setup. And in gaming, when the MacBook Air got overheated while running Dota 2, the FPS dropped to just 60. But after just 1 minute using the Thermalpad and turn on the fan, the FPS started climbing back up, reaching 80 FPS, which is nearly back to the full performance. So we learned that although the MacBook Air overheat easily, it also recover and cool down very quickly. So in real-world usage, you won't have to worry about the machine stay hot after heavy tasks. It's not like some Windows laptop where you put it in a backpack and it's still burning hot. That doesn't happen to the MacBook Air as it's cool off fast. The same goes for other titles. After installing the Thermalpad and using a fan, the FPS came back nearly the original high level. And for office work, just adding a Thermalpad already made the machine feel cooler. Normally, the CPU sits at around 45 Celsius degrees during office tasks, but with the Thermalpad, it's dropped to just above 40 degrees Celsius. Before we end this video, I need to make one thing clear so there's no misunderstanding. The MacBook Air runs very cool if you use it for the right task. like multitasking office work or some light design, so the temperature will be very comfortable. But if you want to push the M4 to its limit for the heavier design, video editing, or gaming, then you should definitely consider some kind of extra cooling. From our test, it's totally worth it and works surprisingly well. And sure, today's setup is a bit clunky and not very practical. I am aware of that. But in real life, just using a high-quality Thermalpad and keep the laptop in a cool environment already help a lot with the heat dissipation. And that's all about it. What do you think of today's modification? Is it worth trying? Let me know in the comment section, okay? And thanks for watching. This is 10K from ThinkView, and see you guys next time.